What's up? What is it? Okay. Third stream. It is third stream. What's up, y'all? I hate that my bed looks like this. Ugh, ugh. Hate how my background look like that, man. What's up with y'all, boys and gals? Yo, look, man. Look, man. It's gonna be a quick stream. Um, I've been trying to, I guess, come up with what I want to do for these upcoming streams. I'm thinking about doing a playthrough, um, but I'm also thinking about, just working out. Um, check something. Um, so I just wanted to say, man, it's kind of weird that I'm, I guess, receiving these, I guess, reception so fast. Like, I came here, do clips. Like, I already know, like, the traction right now isn't going to be as big. Um, because just because I already know it just takes a while to really get stuff out there like how I really want it to get out there. God dang it. Okay. Let me start again. I'm really grateful for um, making and just doing these streams. I told myself like for a long time like I knew I could like do like streams, but I didn't want it to get in the way of the music. But as obviously just getting more mature, you realize like they're more they're more alike than different, And I think like that was just an old mindset that I adopted just because of what I seen on the TV and how like the old model was versus the current one. Like we live in a day and age right now where it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter um, where you are in your life. Like if you're interesting, people are gonna watch, and that's what I like about the current, because before social media, you had the teen pop stars, and you had all just type of like the golden child type, organic. I get the child type of whatever. Like it was like you had to be just a certain age. Like if you were too old back then, like it wasn't gonna happen. By no means, it was not gonna happen. But now, social media has like really, like, really balanced all of like the attention of what people really like. They don't want like we don't have like this linear television where we're telling you what to watch. Like before that, before the internet, before social media, like there was just this space of like people telling you this is what you should watch. You had options where there's BT, Nick, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel. Like we had all the options, but we didn't really look at other things. And so that was just the way of the world. Now we're in a new, different world where if you're interested, people are gonna watch. Um, and I like the world that we live in, and that's why like we have to um, retire the old model of you don't have to be everywhere. You have to be mysterious. Like this is 2026 where you have to be visible to be relevant. It's just that. Um, like some people, like I said, don't feel comfortable. Streaming isn't for everybody. I'm not saying everybody needs to get streaming, whatever, but it's highly recommended, you know. But I guess I'm different because I guess that's how I want to tell my story. Um, in terms of just music and all these things, is like I want to show me. I feel like for so long I haven't really shown myself. I really tried to show my artistic side, and I thought I was showing myself more, but I wasn't. So I think this is going to be the best way, and I'm only like 4 or 5 clips in and already getting just comments on my TikTok and YouTube shorts. Like, this feels great. It feels great. So I don't know when I'm gonna change to Twitch. I just wanted to kind of build a catalog here. Build just this point, and then we'll just start reaching to the next parts. So yeah, I'm just starting to just do different things, trying to figure out what more I need to add on to. So I just, like I said, been watching my streams. That's why it took me so long to it took me a very long time to get back to just watching my streams or just doing streams, because it's like I want to come back and I want to do something that's important and that's interesting to me. So if I can do that, I can do that. Um, so we're here. I don't know. I wanna just, I guess, talk about just a couple things. Like I said, the big thing right now is coming up with. I want to obviously do like some sort of fitness. I'm trying to come up with that idea. Um, I'm thinking about, it's called Operation Gut Cut, where I ain't gonna lie, I got a bit of a gut right now, and I don't want to keep having that gut. So we're gonna try and change that up, and we're definitely gonna make different moves. But I think I want to do that, and then I want to learn Spanish. That's another thing I want to do. I feel like I can learn it. I've been wanting to learn Spanish for a long time. It's one of the easier languages, obviously, because the English language and Spanish is very similar. But we'll get to that. So we'll figure that out. Then I want to do playthroughs. I have a game called Life is Strange. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but it's one of my favorite game series. It's not like an action. It's more like a RPG. I don't even want to say it's an RPG, but it's like it's just a choice type of game where you got to pick certain choices to make the right decisions, and certain outcomes get whatever. But I think it's cool. So I think as we just build those little small things up and just keep building and just keep growing, things are going to just really start evolving, and I'm just really glad and excited for what's to come. And I feel like, just based on my last 2 3 or so TikToks, people have been like agreeing with stuff that I was saying, so that's pretty good. So we all are feeling the same thing of keep going, keep continuing. It's obviously not going to be easy. People are going to always perceive it or give you the runarounds, like, you can do it too, and it ain't that easy. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, it is not, to consistently do something is not an easy task. I feel like people have to know themselves. And I think so many times it's like people are looking outwardly for confirmation of if you're doing something right, but it sounds so cliche, but it's all within. It just is like people just want to just inspire you and do this, motivation, and it's good. Like we all need those positive motivations, but we also need reality. And to also understand that no, not everybody's built for this. Not everybody's built for these certain aspirations. They may want it, you know, they may think that it's all too goody two shoes, but not everybody's built to handle the critiques and the criticisms, like the attention, fame is a one-way street. And I don't think people realize that. Like, it's like once you get it, like there's no turning it off. It's no going back. It's no living a different life. Like, it's on forever. Like, people are going to know you from somewhere, whether you're a Z-list or A-list famous, celebrity. So it's like, that's the thing that I'm just like want to always preach to people. Like, understand, if you're gonna get into this fame, this whatever, if you want this attention, and understand it's a one way street. It's not a space where you can turn it on and then turn it off. Like, this is a reoccurring lifestyle, and it may be fun in the beginning, but a lot of people become depressed. And that's why, like, it's not the fame you should chase. Just, if you love what you do and have a vision for what you do, regardless of how people will create this persona about you or whatever world, people are gonna, because everybody's gonna judge. Everybody's gonna put their projections onto you, and it's on you to understand that everybody aren't confident or as they're not as courageous. Like, a lot of people are not courageous. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, to put yourself out there for people to judge you, to be ultimately vulnerable for people to judge you. It's not an easy thing. And when you can have just the ultimate confidence in yourself, it's inspiring, obviously, to people. And that's why, like I said, I know that this space was made for me, where I can obviously do the fun things and do the exciting things and do the things that make you laugh, but I'm also give reality. I think, and I think that's what a lot of people kind of veer away from, is like, now let's get the realities of a lot of things, and I might be too truthful, like, and that's why, like, sometimes you gotta bite your tongue too, like, and that's being real, so it's that those are the things that I see in life. Like, are you that type of person that's ready to take on whatever type of criticism, whatever type of rumor, whatever type of space where you're going to be judged regardless, even if you do the right thing? If you do the right thing, you're wrong. If you do the wrong thing, you're wrong. It's either way. You go left, you're wrong. You go right, you're wrong. Like, all of these things, you're going to be wrong. And are you willing to accept that in the perception of society that you're wrong in their eyes? And those people just might be projecting the bad day that they have. I feel like a lot of people just create this, like, they may be judging you, but they're using what they go through, and they inject it into their opinion, and so, like, I just think most of society's opinions are biased, like, that's why it's worthless. I believe it's worthless to argue with people because most people are just biased. You know, people aren't going to give you a just. I won't say everybody, but most people aren't going to give you a fair um, social back and forth, you know, or a social dialogue because people are going to feed into their bias. You know what I mean? Some people just don't have the mentality to take whatever whatever bias that they have out of the picture and just obviously give the truth. It is what it is, but at some point it's like, you know, you just look and you just go about your day, you know, because everybody's going to have an opinion. Some people just might not like you just by the way you look. They don't like the way you talk. They don't like the way that you're happy. They don't like the way that you get to live a life that they don't get to live. So you gotta pay attention to all that. All those things matter because now you have to set an example. You gotta be responsible. You know, people can yell at you. People can do all these things, and you still because certain people are public figures. Like they have no, they have, they can't be seen as a human being at that point. You know, and I think I just think it's just unfair. I know I'm jumping place to place, but I just think that there's just so many things in this world to talk about, and I think when you are, you know, just a person that's just living life and accepting things, you know, life is a little bit easier. You know, like I think too many people expect too many things out of life. Like so many people try to control just outcomes. Like that's not real. Like you can't control something that you have no control over. Like whatever you do, you can upload 3 million videos, but if one doesn't go viral, like that's out of your control. You know what I mean? But all you can do is position yourself to give yourself the best shot. And you pray and you hope that it's you that gets chose. So I know that, like I say, me streaming, I don't try to think that, oh, if I make this amount of videos, I'm gonna become successful. Like I don't think like that. Like, and this is gonna be some real. I don't think that there's a GPS to success. And I say that because everybody has a different route. Everybody lives a different life. Everybody was raised differently. So what might work for somebody else doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for you. And we have to get out of that mindset that, hey, I can teach people because it works for me. No, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Like that's say everything that I say doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work out for you. Like it's just that. Like when you have to understand that you have to find out. That's why when people say like create your like what does it mean in your own words? It's for a reason because there's a standard dictionary definition, but unless you create your own version of that word, you won't understand it fully. So everything in life has its own definitions that's created by you. You may have the standard of what the word says, but until it resonates to you, then that's when you fully understand it. And that just goes for everything in life. Like there are things that's going to be defined not by the standard of the world, but by the standard of yourself. So that's why you got to look within. And I don't say this stuff just to, you know, blow smoke up people's butts or anything, but it's the truth. Like there's no one path. That's a universal truth. There's no one set path to anything. And I'm not trying to be up here preachy because, like I said, I want to really get to like creating content, and creating just gaming, um, like I said, fitness. But I always, whenever I feel like there's things and what I see in the world, I'm always going to be inspired to just spill the beans, you know? But I also know when not to talk, you know? Like, I feel like people don't know, like, when I should say something, when I shouldn't, you know? Like, you should always be mindful of that. Um, because when you're very impulsive, that's very dangerous. You feel me? Like, you should never want to be in a place where you're always impulsive. You know, I am a victim of that. Like I can be very impulsive at times. But I also know when to be strategic too. So I don't know, man. I just love this. I'm realizing so much of like how I want to just create this openness to streaming. And like I said, I'm not gonna say like, yeah, y'all get to come into my world and know exactly, like, there's things that, just like anything else on social media, like, I'm only giving you what I allow. You're not always gonna be in the world, you know. um and it's always should be like, there should always be this, respect factor of like, I share what I allow, and people should be grateful for that. But then there's this level of privacy where it's like, nah, like, this is my space, um, and I think when people respect that, I think, um, life in the world can be a little bit better. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this next stream, um, but I'm strategizing, and y'all will know the next time. But I do appreciate y'all. Like I say every time, there's always gonna be clips of what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, cause I go back and I watch my clips, cause I'm the only one that's clipping my stuff. Like I said, nobody knows me, so I gotta clip my own stuff. So, but I appreciate y'all, and until next time.